It is getting pretty heavy, isn't it?
I don't know how this whole Tijuana thing got started. But if you've ever been to TJ, or anywhere in Mexico, you've seen those packs of wild dogs. And those bands of beggars diving for coins in the muddy river. And the sun-scarred walls and the ochre-covered streets.
The turn of the decade saw the counterculture and the popular music attached to it entering troubled times. By 1969, the assassinations of Robert Kennedy and Martin Luther King and the election of Richard Nixon to the White House clearly demonstrated the difficult struggle that lay ahead. The counterculture itself was also spiraling out of control, with the Manson family murders and the Rolling Stones' catastrophic Altamont gig accentuating the dangers of the movement's free-for-all philosophy. Many of the musical figureheads of the movement, Bob Dylan, the band and the Byrds, looked to country music and an old, possibly imagined, rural America. The Doors also left behind the ornate pop complexities of the Soft Parade, and in February 1970 released Morrison Hotel, which saw the band developing a more basic blues sound. Split across two distinct sides, Hard Rock Cafe and Morrison Hotel, it was the Doors' attempt to simplify their music and to repackage themselves as a more rugged unit.
I think you have to understand about the late 60s that the movement was falling apart at a very rapid rate. Hippies were being murdered. The country was as close to a civil insurrection as it had been at any time since the Civil War. Your leaders had been assassinated, and it was a profoundly terrifying experience.
Morrison Hotel, it's not really a retreat to where the Doors has started out, which is something you could say roughly of the Beatles' Get Back, or maybe the Rolling Stones' Beggar's Banquet and Let It Bleed, because the Doors had started as the Doors with songs like My Eyes Have Seen You and Hello, I Love You and End of the Night, were that mysterious element, which was not a blues rock update, but combining the elements that they were famous for doing uniquely were already in place. So it wasn't like, as the Rolling Stones had, they started as a blues rock band. You listen to the Rolling Stones' first album, most of those songs are blues or rhythm and blues. The Doors has started with the original material that set them aside from mostly everyone else. It's not like, oh, so it's going to sound like the Doors did in the old days. It's just going to sound, well, they're not doing what they do the best.
It was their attempt to refresh themselves. After everything, all the gigging, the 4 albums, the Miami incident, the commercial success. I mean, anybody who's been through that path, you know, at some point, time out. And actually the Miami incident did force a timeout. All the gigs got canceled. Now they had time to rehearse. And it sounded better. I mean, the album sounded better because now they had time to actually work as a group.
It's a good record. It's definitely more consistent than Waiting for the Sun or Soft Parade, both in quality and in the nature of the sound. Yes, they're more of a conventional rock band and less of an exploratory psychedelic group on Morrison Hotel than they'd been on the first albums. But they hadn't abandoned those elements, I think it's important to point out. I think on tracks from Morrison Hotel like Queen of the Highway, The Spy, Indian Summer, they definitely still have that mysterious element that's very characteristic of the spookiest and somewhat psychedelic parts of the Doors' early work.
Sometimes you produce a track in the studio that you know is going to go down well on stage, and Roadhouse Blues was certainly one of those for the Doors. In fact, they liked it so much they would open the shows with it, which was a little bit of a risk, but it's one that really usually paid off.
If you ever wanted a blues hard rock anthem, this song was it.
Roadhouse Blues is a true Doors classic, a song you could sing along to. You can dance to it. You can especially drink to this song.
It's all about drinking beer, heading out on the road.
It's honest, and it comes from a real place. It's got a real swagger to it, too, and Jim, when he wraps his vocals around it, he's just got that whiskey-drenched sort of vocal that just works with it. It's just a hard-hitting, booze-drinking song.
It sounds like one of the nights in the studio, they all got there together, and it was, a good vibe. And the raw power of Jim's vocal, a great blues singer, and that was really coming out. Robbie's sort of slightly odd blues guitar lick.
It showed again what the Doors could do when they put their minds to it, and they churned out, I think, an enduring blues song.
It's just true rock and roll. It's an absolutely fantastic song that really shows them going back to what they do best, which is play straight ahead rock and roll with driving drums, a driving bass beat, and everyone just gelling in perfect harmony.
The other thing I think about the band was that between drums and vocals, there was an understanding. They used to follow each other, and even in a blues song it would work. So sometimes there was straightforward drumming going on, sometimes there wasn't. And I think this was something that the Doors, they weren't scared to take risks. So it sounded like to me they were having fun during this recording.
Keep your eyes on the road, your hand upon the wheel. Keep your eyes on the road, your hand upon the wheel. Yeah, we're going to the Roadhouse, gonna have a good time. Hong Kong, Kadanta, Asia, Kuna, Nature, Papalula, Nicha, Pampatita, Eson, Kongere. Ashen lady, Ashen lady, give up your vows. Give up your vows.